So this is hip-hop producer Will Television, who asked, are you pro-Republican, or even more direct, are you now Republican, in response to my assertion that we really move away from the Democrats and expecting them to show up in a way that is actually oppositional. What this is indicative of is a very commonplace scenario, which is folks only thinking in a binary context as it relates to electoral politics. Now, I obviously can't blame this brother for his ignorance, because that is what the indoctrination of this nation has been. This concept that there's only the option of Republican and Democrat, and that ultimately if you can't figure out anything in those two, then you're just stuck with what you got. But there are so many folks who are pushing the envelope and saying, no, there's got to be something better. Now, this brother then says, so what's the alternative? Genuinely asking, not trolling, please teach me to learn. One thing about me is, baby, if you want to learn, I'ma teach you. In many other nations, there are multiple parties, okay? You don't simply have the option of Republican and Democrat. You have other parties that are falling along other levels of the spectrum versus it just being far right and kind of right. You have centrist, you have left, you have leftists, etc. Unfortunately, here in the United States, at present, we only have the Republican and Democrats. But I want to remind folks, this has not always been the case in this nation. We have had multiple parties in the past. But we're seeing candidates who are actually saying, you know what, we want to come harder and present something a little different. So one example of that is Zoran in New York, who is a member of the Democratic Socialists. And even though they do share some of the same things as the Democrats, they are decisively saying we actually have policies that are very aligned with socialism. Unfortunately, we know that Democrats quite often are scared, shiver me timbers, over the words socialist and communist, because it is, of course, frowned upon in this nation that anyone should be expected to be helped and supported by the government they pay taxes to. It's nuts. Thankfully, though, we are seeing younger folks say we want to expand the concept of what the party system looks like, even though right now it is still binary. The truth is, though, we'll only expand if we begin actually expanding. And that begins with action, and that also begins with the people, that's you and me, supporting that action and saying we want more than just two options, while also identifying that this option right here isn't enough, which is exactly why we need more. Now, unfortunately for Will Television, he does not have the intellectual capabilities to expand to that point. And so he then responded, Amanda wants y'all to drink her Kool-Aid, ha ha ha, FOH, I was a fan before this BS, ha ha ha, best laugh I had all day, you are a comedian. You can't teach everybody, because everybody can't be taught.